Welcome to a very special episode of Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ali Gohar. Now, we all know that the Zimbabwean cricket team is here to play 3 one-day internationals and a T20 series. The first one-day international was just completed in Pakistan, just managed to win by 26 runs. Zimbabwe were about to take it away, but in the end, unfortunately for them, they collapsed. But it was great. It's always great to see fun, competitive cricket, and we're honored to have the Zimbabwean cricket team and their officials here. And I'm delighted, absolutely delighted to have the chairman of Zimbabwean cricket here with me to discuss this tour and cricket in great detail, Mr. Tavengwa Mukuhlani. Sir?
Thank you, Ali.
Welcome to Pakistan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first off, before we talk about everything else, what's currently going on, Pakistan, the country, Pakistan, we're very, very grateful to Zimbabwe because it was Zimbabwe that took the first step in 2015 to come to Pakistan after the terror attacks of 2009. So they paved the way for Pakistani. So I'd like to personally thank you for that.
No, thank you. It's our pleasure to be here to support Pakistan. You will appreciate that, like Pakistan, we have had our fair share of negativity.
Absolutely.
We know what it means. We have lived with it. So, and isolation is the worst thing that you want you wish on anyone. And as I've said before, there's great rich history of cricket in Pakistan that the world must just guard jealously against, and it's important to have teams tour Pakistan, and we together with our government, we believe that's the right thing to do, and we have done that in 2015, and again we are here. I've been here on an official visit with our former Minister of Sports. We watched the final of the PSL in Lahore. So we have kept the momentum to make sure that the world is alive to the fact that you can tour Pakistan and play cricket safely.
Just overall, you've already touched upon it, but I'd like you to expound. You've been to Pakistan a few times. Now you're here again with the Zimbabwean cricket team. How do you feel about being in Pakistan, security-wise and safety-wise? Because as you know, that's been Pakistan's biggest issue, trying to combat that.
I was here first in 2007, and the security arrangement have been, fantastic. The hospitality has been great. All the arrangements are in place. I came again in 2016 with our minister, for the final of the PSL, and I had brought the minister to have a look and see what had been put in place by the PCB, and to understand the need for our country to continue that cooperation. And I'm happy to say you are satisfied. Now in 2020 we are here, coupled with COVID and the security concerns. I must say, hats off to PCB. It's amazing. It's flawless. It's seamless. There's nothing that you can think of that has not been put in place. I mean, we have been around. Today we were in a park. We're walking around in a park. I've been out and about to some lake. We've gone out. It's just you feel comfortable. You feel at home. You feel everything is in place.
No, I'm glad you say that because, as I said earlier, combating that negative narrative has been difficult, and ever since Zimbabwe came in 2015, that helped Pakistani cricket greatly. And your cricket board at the time in 2015, because you were getting a little bit of flack for coming to Pakistan, you got criticism as well. But I think what you said, what Zimbabwean cricket officials said, was beautiful. That we understand isolation. And isolation cannot lead to anything good. Exactly. And Pakistan has a very rich cricketing history. Cricket will be poorer without Pakistan. So we were deeply touched by that because it makes a lot of sense. And Zimbabwe understands political tumult better than anybody, political uncertainty.
You can only critique or give a thumbs up to the security setup in Pakistan when you put it to test. It's not it's not something that you can do from an armchair critiquing. You need to be in Pakistan. You need to put it to test. The world has to put this to test. We are here. We are experiencing, we're having first-hand experience of what Pakistan has put in place, what it is that they can do, where they can, and Pakistan is looking at where they want to improve. So our position is very simple, that by not touring Pakistan, Pakistan will not be able to improve what everyone believes needs to be improved, because they can only improve and put in place these things when they are actually playing. That's our view.
Yeah, and you've worked, I'm sure, very closely with the chairman of the Pakistan Cricket Board, Mr. Ehsan Mani. There's Wasim Khan as well, and they have a very dynamic team, and they're doing everything they can to have teams come here regularly. It must have been great working with them and speaking to them about all this.
I mean, a great man in Ehsan Mani, a great man, and a great cricket servant for the game. He has done wonderfully well for the game of cricket. I remember he came to Zimbabwe. I was a young man on the board then. We had our issues, and he came there, helped us in our time of need when he was the ICC president at the time. So I believe, given what Pakistan is going through today, they actually have the safest pair of hands in him, to see them through this page that they need, international camaraderie, so to speak. And he's better placed to do that. We work very close with him. We have worked very close with him in terms of having this series come through, and ideas of how other boards should look at it. The Bangladeshis have been here, Sri Lanka has been here, which shows that there is steady and genuine progress in having international cricket back to Pakistan.
Let's talk about Zimbabwe now. I'm curious because you, as a cricketing nation, have been through your fair share. I'm putting it mildly here. You've been through a lot. Yeah. Hasn't been easy at all, but it's good to see that you're still, your board is being very active in trying to engage and innovate as much as possible. Just off air, we were talking about what you're trying to do for women's cricket. We're looking at the men's team here. They gave Pakistan a real run for their money. Taylor and Madhavire were superb the other night in Rawalpindi. So it's good to see that Zimbabwean cricket is still very active, and they haven't lost that drive to succeed and go forward.
Indeed, we have gone through a fair share of issues, and we have worked through, for the past 4 or 5 years, if you want, we have worked through very hard to get ourselves back on track in terms of our cricket. We have programs that we have put in place now. We are back to serious club cricket, restructuring our domestic cricket. We have just launched 2 tournaments for our ladies cricket. And we have always done very well at our under-19 World Cup. Our under-19 team is generally very good. But what has been lacking is the link between the under-19 tournament and the first class, and then the national team. Our club cricket was in a bit of a mess. We are fixing that. We had our fair share of trouble in terms of our finances. We have tried to, we've restructured that. And I think we are looking forward to better days. I mean, yesterday is testimony of, what we are doing on the ground. Young Madhavire was part of our under-19 squad in South Africa. And, you can see that he's confident. He played pretty
Imagine
well.
He was 3 years old when Brendan Taylor made his debut in 2004, I think. Yeah, that's insane when you think about it.
Exactly. And I was very happy and pleased to see that, there's a lot of cricket still remaining in Brendan Taylor. He played very well, responsibly led from the front, which is what we want. So yes, we want to reclaim our place in world cricket and, bring back the memories of the good old days.
I can tell you, for Pakistanis, it was deeply disturbing when Zimbabwean cricket started to decline. And from the outside, we just saw that it was international cricket, but domestic and club cricket suffered as well, because Pakistan and Zimbabwe, they have a very rich traditional cricketing rivalry.
Exactly.
I mean, growing up, Zimbabwe in the 90s were always here, and they had tremendous players. Like when you think of Andy Flowers, one of the best in the world, one of the best players of spin in the world, especially his brother Grant, the captain, Alistair Campbell, Neil Johnson was one of my personal favorites, Heath Streak, Olonga. So it was just wonderful to see them in action. Innovators as well, like Douglas Marilia, who's the original inventor of the scoop.
Exactly.
So Pakistan have always adored Zimbabwean cricket.
No, the rich history between the two countries, and great relationship in cricket, and it's important that we continue to build that relationship, and have these youngsters that are coming through to understand that there's a lot of respect between the two countries, Pakistan and Zimbabwe. And yes, we have had great players in the past, all those names that you've mentioned, Pomi Mbangwa, you name it,
Now a great commentator.
Now a great commentator. And that speaks a lot to what a country can actually achieve. And, and that's what I've always believed, that, with the rich history of Pakistan cricket, it's great pity that, there's no international cricket taking place in Pakistan. And, we need to come together and protect that rich history. Come to think of it, your Prime Minister was the captain of the Pakistan cricket team.
The greatest cricketer we've produced,
exactly,
arguably.
So we need to protect that great heritage that Pakistan has. And every nation has a role to play in doing that. And I believe we are playing our role as Zimbabwe cricket in doing that, and we are working hard at home to make sure that even our own heritage is well protected and maintained.
I mean, it's because of cricket that we have so much in common. I was telling you about places in Zimbabwe that I knew about only because of cricket. And the same as well for you. Exactly. I mean, that's why cricket and sport in general is just so important. It bridges people together, and also for young people especially, to have, I mean, a boy growing up in Islamabad, Faisalabad, Sialkot, wherever, and have his hero be Neil Johnson or Heath Streak or Brendan Taylor. It's random, but it's great. That's why sport is so important.
It's sports, and in particular cricket in this instance, is a great tool that we can use for so many things, in terms of tourism, in terms of sports diplomacy. It brings nations together. It brings communities together. Come to think of it, probably the greatest number of people in Pakistan today, probably, I was listening to someone telling me that they have close to about 135 million youths in Pakistan. How do you get them off the streets? You need, you can't give a job to each and every one of them, but cricket can do that. Cricket can occupy their time, and what a way of building these communities around sports and around their idols, the people that they want to see, they want to identify with. So sport is one tool that we can use, and societies, governments, countries can use as a conveyor belt to reach out to different communities, reach out even to the disadvantaged communities. It's a big industry that can take people out of poverty and just make heroes out of nothing. So we must, as national associations, strive to work close to governments in propelling and forwarding the cause for sports.
As the chairman of a cricket board, what are some of the biggest challenges you've had to face?
Greatly, cricket as a sport is an expensive sport. It's not a cheap sport to run. So issues of funding are really topical in cricket. Even
of course,
even in world cricket today, most countries are facing difficult financial situations, and now coupled with COVID-19, it's worse for many people. So yes, funding gap has been the biggest issue, and to try and balance the expectation of the country, and your fan base, with the output, it's always a challenge. But I would say funding has been one of the major challenges that we have faced. But like I said earlier on, we have tried to restructure Zimbabwe cricket in such a way that we have a sustainable program outline which can be well funded and produce reasonable results.
Right. And also just going back to what you said about isolation and going through difficult times and money being the core issue for many cricketing countries. This is where the ICC need to step up. And I understand, look, when people say, it is a cliche when they say you can't put sports and politics together, they shouldn't get together. I understand that's a bit of a cliche, I get that, but that can't be avoided. But the ICC also need to make a concerted effort to understand that without a country like Zimbabwe, if Zimbabwe doesn't play cricket, cricket will be poorer.
Exactly. I mean, it's important that ICC, my view is that ICC must be the world governing board of sports, of cricket. And it's imperative that they need to make sure that the smaller countries are also brought up in a way, you know, to be able to up their game in terms of development, in terms of it's a reasonably fairer distribution of funds. I say this well aware that it can't be equitable, but it has to be fair. It must have a resemblance of fairness, and every country needs support that it needs. And you talk about political interference. We all need our governments in one way or the other. Of course. If we had to host the World Cup, we need guarantees from our security guarantees from our governments. We need tax exemptions from our government. We rely on our governments on a lot of things. Yes, but of course there's a thin line between government support and interference. Yes. But I'm alive to the fact that we need our governments, and ICC has to take that into consideration when they're looking at various countries.
No, I think within any, as the chairman of a cricket board, you understand that there are certain things you can't do where you're hamstrung. But within a framework that you're given, you can improvise within that framework. Like I said, I understand that you can't completely divorce sports and politics. That's a pipe dream, right? It's not going to happen. But you can somehow work around that. So it's important that the people at the helm understand that and try to, I guess, innovate and improvise within that framework, and I'm sure that's what you look to do every single day.
Exactly, we do that every day. Look, England has not taught us since 2006, you know, and it's largely to do with the politics.
We're expecting them here in January, so
between Harare and London, you know, and we have to work through that. It's important, and I'm happy that the relationship between us and England is, you know, thawing, and you know, we have had tours with Scotland. We have toured to Scotland, so we hope to improve that. And as you said, we have to work within the context of the politics that is playing, that is obtaining on the ground.
No doubt about that, and let's hope sanity does prevail. But now let's talk about cricket. I mentioned before that Pakistanis loved Zimbabwean cricketers of the 90s, very, very talented cricketers, which should help the current cricketers of today, because they have so many role models to look up to. Neil Johnson in the '99 World Cup was awesome, and there's so many others. So that must help the current crop of Zimbabwean cricketers.
Very true. You need that. You need that impartation of skill, experience within your team, and that's why I was very happy to see Brendan Taylor leading from the front. You know, you talk of Neil Johnson. We've just appointed Hamilton is our director of cricket, and he moves with the team. He understands what goes on in the changing room. He understands what it means to be a newly kept player, you know, in the team, to be selected for the first time. So we we are trying to make sure that there is that passage of knowledge from one generation to the other, from one generation to the other. It's very important and it's key. For you in Pakistan, you are blessed that you have a larger pool of such players. But we always try to, Tino Mawoyo is with the team right now. He's doing commentary. Douglas Uhondo used to play for the same team.
Medium pacer.
Yes, Stuart Matsikanyere was a batsman, So we have tried to integrate, these youngsters and, the older players into various roles so that they can help to build for the future.
I mean, because, Mr. Mukuhlani, to be honest, I mean, the countries like ours, I mean, our domestic setup isn't the best in the world. We're working on it, but we're still behind other cricketing countries like England and Australia. And that's the way it will be for a while. So that one of the reasons why we keep producing talent is because we have so many heroes to look up to. So having someone like Hamilton Mazakatsa, that's who we were talking about, Stewie Matsikaneri, Douglas Hondo, Heath Streak was there for some time. That's what will keep it going.
Exactly.
And I remember, and just watching that youngster bat yesterday, Madhavire, I mean, we all know what Brendan Taylor's all about. He's been doing it for ages. But it was wonderful to see him cover drive, the Pakistani fast bowlers.
Yeah, that's very true, And that's what we have said about club cricket. Because then communities identify with heroes. And a parent would want to take their child to a club, and identify with that club. It's like in football. I mean, if you look at a small city like Norwich, when Norwich City is playing, the Carrow Road is packed full.
There's so much interest.
There's
hysteria.
So much there's hysteria, and that's what we are trying to do at home. That let's go back to the basics. Let's have club cricket up and running. Let's have then provincial teams up and running, and the communities identify with their role models, with their heroes, and that way we can build for generations to come.
I'm so glad that you said that, because that's what this administration is looking to do. They've worked very hard on improving our Pakistan's first-class structure, of course, but also club cricket. I think sometimes we forget, we focus more on international cricket, and we look at the problems, with the board, with the international players and all that, but we don't focus on the grassroots. We don't talk about it enough. And I'm really happy that you're talking about generating interest in Zimbabwean club cricket, and again, because that's what this administration especially is looking to do. They're making a concerted effort to do that.
Yeah, the national team, your national team, the Pakistan national team, which was on the field yesterday, is the end product. What is key and what is important for the survival of cricket is the pipeline. And it's like farming. Your produce is as good as your seed. If you have got a bad variety of a seed, your produce won't be as great.
It's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah.
So you have to make sure that you prepare these youngsters from an early age. So you cannot expect your bowlers to last 10 overs when they have not been doing it.
Exactly.
They don't do it on a daily basis. They don't do it regularly. So the cricket must be played regularly, at all levels. Then you see the end product, which is your national team. You see it will show you whether the input is good. It will tell you that whatever you are inputting into the system is good or not. It will also tell you that whatever you have put at the beginning, is it going through the correct processes in between. So yes, people then concentrate on the national team, but there's very little that you can do at that level to change. Things have to be changed. The culture, the type of play that you want to be identified with has to be ingrained from an early age, going through the phases.
No, I'm not. I'm quite curious. I'm not trying to butter you up here, but I'm just, you see, because we've talked about what Zimbabwe have been through, the difficulties and the challenges they've been through. I mean, I can't even begin to imagine what Zimbabwe has been through. But even within that turmoil and tumult, you still managed to produce some good players, some very good players within that. So you must be doing something right. You must have been doing something right along the way. What do you think that is?
Our school's cricket is still very good.
There we go. Yeah.
Our school's cricket is still very good. Yes, it's largely private schools, but I'll tell you that in some low-income suburbs, you know, what we call high-density suburbs in Zimbabwe, where Hamilton came from, you know, we have one club there, you know, it's called Takashinga Club, the cricket club. They've produced Elton, they've produced Stuart Matsikanyere, Panyangara, you know, Vusi Sibanda, Prosper Utseya, you name it, they've come from that. And Mandevere comes from another high-density suburb where we have introduced cricket. So our school's cricket has been doing the magic for us. What has been lacking is the connection between schools cricket and club cricket, so that, you know, there's continuous play. So we have been very lucky that our school's cricket has been very decent, and the cricket culture is still there and, you know, alive. You know, in 2018 when we hosted the World Cup qualifiers, we had to lock the gates for the Harare Sports Club.
That's amazing.
Sports Club, you know, because we had an overspill, you know. People just want to, and we were not even playing in the final game. So it tells you that there's just a culture of cricket that is there. What needs to be done is to have certain pillars in place. So yes, we have been sustained by our schools.
No, I mean, it's very interesting to hear you say that, and we're all very glad to hear that there's still genuine interest in Zimbabwe cricket, because as I mentioned, during, I mean, you're still going through a difficult period, but I mean, you still managed to produce cricketers like Jarvis and that left armer, Vitore, I think his name was, and you had South Africa on the ropes in a test match. Was Alan Donald the bowling coach at one point? If I remember, so my memory's a bit fuzzy. So I remember, I mean, these are quality bowlers.
Yes.
I'm like, they're going through so much. How are they producing international cricketers who are troubling top quality players? So now it makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Tom Curran is a Zimbabwean.
Yep.
Sam Curran is a Zimbabwean.
Sam Curran's awesome as well. Yeah.
Gary Balance is a Zimbabwean. Colin de Grandom is a Zimbabwean. So these are 4 top cricketers. They've come through our systems. They've come through our schools cricket. You know, I mean, and Tom and Sam are regulars in the England team. Colin de Grandom is a regular in the New Zealand team. So we have. So
and he bowled out Pakistan on his debut.
You see, so we have produced players. Unfortunately, some of them, you know, have had to look for greener pastures elsewhere. But there is testimony that we are producing good cricketers.
I mean, to watch what Brendan Taylor was doing the other night, I mean, was just insane. I mean, Shaheen Shah Afridi is the best bowler in the world right now, and he scooped him over, not fine leg, third man for 4. And at that point, Pakistani fans were thinking, crikey, they're going to take the game away from us. So someone like we've talked about Brendan a little bit, but you know, imagine he played what his debut was in 2004.
Exactly.
And he's still going strong. His hand-eye coordination, that skill, that the fire in his belly, it's still very much there.
And to imagine that we don't have that much of international cricket, you know, as a country. Our FTP is not that great. We would have had a very good FTP this year, but it had not been of COVID. But you know, we last played in Bangladesh, you know, and we come here after the break, you know, and we have competed Although, you know, we want to win. We just don't want to compete. So in term, we need more game time. Our boys need game time, which has been not coming their way really. Yeah. You know, you can imagine if they are playing regularly, it would be a
different story then.
A different story altogether. When you look at the great teams that you have mentioned, all, you know, the Heath Streak, the Alistair Campbell, Neil Johnson, Murray Goodwin. And if you look at that time, the FTP structure, you would find that we had home and away tours with almost
Zimbabwe
everyone.
were constantly playing. As I said, they were in Pakistan all the time. They even beat us in Peshawar. They beat India as well.
That has changed. Yeah. You know, that has changed now. We don't have that much of home and away tours. You know, you have to negotiate bilateral tours here and there, and everyone is busy. Add to that the new domestic leagues. That has disrupted a bit how, you know, we used to play cricket a while ago.
Absolutely. So during, it must be very frustrating for the cricketers then. So how do they keep their spirits up? I'm sure that's something you've thought about to try and keep them motivated, because it can't be easy.
It's not easy. You know, athletes want to be on the field, and you only get better by playing. I've listened to people who have said, you know, performance, and you can only perform when you play. You don't perform when you're not playing. So there's need for us to play regularly and constantly, and that is the reason why we have said we need a serious club cricket program, a serious first-class program, and we are in the process of negotiating with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, to have their A teams to come and fill in the gaps within our FTP, so that our boys play continuously.
No, well, it's great. I mean, you're doing. It's clear that you're doing tremendous work, and you're trying to get things up and running again. And keeping the guys, their spirits up is the most important thing. And that's the only way they can perform. But they should know, and I'm sure they've been told this, that cricketers of the past, in the 90s especially, did some wonderful things in Pakistan.
Exactly.
They achieved they achieved greatness, especially guys like Andy Flower, who, and Wasim Akram said, like, there's an interview, I remember Wasim Akram saying that he's one of the most difficult batsmen that I had to bowl to. And then, you know, Heath Streak and Bangwa bowling Pakistan out. But they should think about that as well.
Yeah. That
their teams have done some wonderful things here in this country.
Exactly. And I mean, I used to marvel to watch Wasim Akram bowling, you know, when I was still in college, and a lot of great Pakistani players, and you know, like you're saying, you know, I think we played our first game at Rawalpindi as well, and you know, it was in our newspapers that Zimbabwe is, you know, they are the first again to go there, you know, post-COVID and all that. So there's a lot of history between our two countries, and a lot that our cricketers, you know, have done here, and it motivates. Come to think of it, Raza is from Sialkot.
Sikandar Raza, yeah.
Sikandar Raza
he's amazing.
He's from Sialkot, and he's a neutralized Zimbabwean now, and it shows you how close we are as a people. So he's a Zimbabwean, and today he's back. He's like, you know, he's at home, you know, and he carries the flag like anyone else, you know, and he has done very well for himself and even for the country. So there's a lot that our youngsters can pick from our relationship with Pakistan.
You mentioned that you were an avid cricket follower. You enjoy playing cricket, and you also talked about Wasim Akram. Who are your favorite Pakistani cricketers growing up, and your current favorite Pakistani cricketers, other than Wasim? You've already talked about.
Yeah, you know, I've followed Waka so much. I've followed Inzi so much. Yeah, I've had a discussion with Inzi. I've had a conversation with Inzi. But Hafiz is good. Hafiz is good. And you know, this youngster who was the pace bowler, great youngster. And you know, I was following, and you know, just to think that He's just been on the scene for 2 years and looks amazing. And I think he's doing that across all formats. That's great to see.
And your favorite Zimbabwean cricketers growing up?
Oh, obviously we had many we have come through. We have many that have come through, and you know, Andy comes to mind. He was great. You know, his skill, his determination, work rate, you name, and he has gone, you know, to become England coach. He has done almost, you know, from playing, from coaching, you know. So he was I would say, Andy was
Grant
great.
Flower being Pakistan's batting coach.
Batting coach. He's you know, now he's with Sri Lanka. Yeah. So and would be the greatest. Yeah.
So I mean, before we end, again, we talked a little bit about this earlier, but just I'd like to explore this further. Being in the biosecure bubble, Pakistan have gone through it already. So far, it seems as if, you know, everything has gone through seamlessly, other than your coach not being able to come, unfortunately, again, due to political reasons. How's it been over?
It's a new normal for everyone, but I would say we're almost not feeling it now, you know. But I can imagine for the players, you know, because it's different. Yeah, but it's been very good. We have been well kept. We have been well maintained, and I think I've talked to a few of my players to check how they're doing, and I've seen the setup there. You know, there's table tennis, video games, this, that. So you can just make it the best it can be. But I must say, it's been a great setup. It's a learning point for everyone, for us, and PCB. We can only you know, improve it. But so far, so good.
Yeah, Pakistan have worked very hard to set up this biosecure bubble, and they went to England not so long ago, so they know exactly what to do. But I think for countries like ours, Pakistan and Zimbabwe, who've been through the ringer, through hell and back, really. Let's be honest. I mean, this ain't such a big deal, is it? Let's be real.
No, it isn't.
We've been through worse.
We have been through worse. This is nothing. This is nothing. That's a fact.
Right. Yeah. Well, we have to come to the end of the show. I just want to say once more, on behalf of the entire country, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for bringing your cricket team, and thank you for continuing to support Pakistan. You've always been there for Pakistan, and Pakistan will always be there for you.
No, thank you. And we are particularly grateful to our country, to our government. You know, they understood the need. The government, you know, the president understood the need for us to be here. We did a presentation to the president a week before we came, and the support that, you know, various departments, various ministries, the Ministry of Sport, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the support that they put behind the Zimbabwe cricket team to tour Pakistan was just amazing. All I can say is that you do have a friend in the Zimbabwean people in general. You have a friend in the Zimbabwean government, and in particular, Zimbabwe cricket is your partner. We are brothers, and we are together in this. We will stand by Pakistan until such a time when, you know, everyone will be able to tour Pakistan. And in us, you have got good ambassadors. We have seen very nice sites of Pakistan, and we'll carry a good message for you across in Africa and in Zimbabwe.
Absolutely. Well, we adore Zimbabwe, and we adore Zimbabwe cricket. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you, Mr. Mukuhlani. You're incredibly fun and articulate, and this was just wonderful. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
That's all we have time for. Keep watching Sports Extra on PTV World. See you next time. Bye-bye.